Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the third International Conference on Alcohol and Harm Reduction in Cape Town, South Africa in 2006. And of course we have with us as our guest to talk about this third international conference that was held in Cape Town, South Africa in 2006, Ms. Joyce Perkins. Ms. Joyce Perkins is a social activist and who has been involved in a number of issues dealing with society and social problems for the last many years. And of course, Ms. Perkins, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haney, and thank you for having me on your show. And again, my name is Joyce Perkins, and presently I'm working with the First Response Center of Metropolitan Interdenominational Church with Reverend Edwin Sanders and Dr. Sharon Crawford, who is the executive director. And what we do is we have a large ministry with HIV/AIDS education, treatment, and prevention. The program that I run is a treatment program. It's a 5-year federal funded program that actually is over December 31st of this year. We work with folks who have long-term substance abuse problems with opiates, meaning your heroin, your OxyContin that you hear so much about. We have very intensive, but we have a biopsychosocial model that we're able to manage.
And so in a real sense, Ms. Perkins, you've been involved in this whole issue of AIDS, alcohol abuse, and et cetera, and that was one of the reasons that sort of prompted you to become involved in this third international conference. You know, what I'd like to do this morning, Ms. Perkins, is to take advantage of the fact that you were in Cape Town, South Africa, and that you carry with you a whole series of social activities and things that you've been involved in, and to have you in a real sense give us some, first of all, as you indicated, some information about your background and some of the things that prompted you to become involved in this third international conference. And at the same time, after our first commercial break, we're going to get into a report in a real sense from Cape Town, South Africa. So let's do it that way.
Okay, and you know, I'm a graduate of Tennessee State University. I graduated in 1980. I'm from New York originally, and I've been involved with civil rights movements back in the 60s, and every issue that ever existed with HIV/AIDS is something that I have stood up for in a way in which, so back in 1985 when I saw my first participant at Meharry, there were just issues there that just said, this is where I need to stand up and be present. And what happened was I had the opportunity, this is my second trip to South Africa, and during the first trip we were able to go over there and basically take a quick view, take an assessment of some of the needs. And I was determined to go back there on my own because I wanted to really feel the sense of the streets in the way in which we couldn't do it on the first trip. And you know, the good is always working, and I was able, it was very grateful that I was able to get this trip in order. I stayed at a YMCA with very moderate facilities. The compound was in a very high-risk area. The whole entire compound was locked. You had to have a key to even get into it, and then you had a double lock to get into your rooms and things of that nature. There was security there, and I say that, you know, and I had no fear. I felt safe the whole entire time. The issue of HIV/AIDS is just so, whether it's here in this country or certainly the magnitude that happens in South Africa, is just so great with what is going on. And the conference was the beginning of it in terms of allowing myself to meet people from across the world, specifically around Africa, and certainly there were other countries represented as well too. And the conference had 4 working groups. There was a group on youth, there was a group on alcohol and sexual behaviors and transgender issues, and the issue of policy to research the policy, and then working with nonprofits and profit organizations. The thing that was really interesting was the fact that they had people from the liquor industry there that stayed for the whole conference.
You know, what we'd like to do this morning, Ms. Perkins, is to get some additional information. We understand that you have some images in reference to that, and to have you to explain some of these images during our second segment. But now we're going to have to stop for our first commercial break, and we'll be back with you for the second segment following this short commercial break. The topic is the third